sport in outdoors. New flag here as we go from 14 to 16 teams in this great conference. The Oklahoma Sooners, led by Porter Moser, and this is the fourth year he is out over in Norman. 20 wins over last season. They finished 8-12, but just barely missed out. They were the first four out of the NCAA tournament, and now they step into, just maybe the deepest league in all of college hoops. You know, you're thinking, all right, hey, we're in the Big 12. They know how to play some basketball out there. Oh, no. Now the SEC's bringing this right now as 9 teams ranked in the top 25. What do you think that jump is like? Not only for Oklahoma, but for Texas, making this jump to where this conference is right here, right now.
Well, sure. I was talking to Coach Porter Moser yesterday, and he talked about how first thing you have to do is stock up that roster. Obviously, the Big 12, a very, very physical league. He feels like coming into the SEC, the SEC is turning into a much more physical league as well. A lot of people think about the athleticism, the speed of the SEC, but you also are now seeing a more physicality in the SEC overall. And Coach Moser, listen, he lost 3 of his top scorers from last year. So he had to do some real work in the offseason. Fortunately, he was able to keep Jalen Moore and Sam Godwin on that nice little core for him, probably his 2 toughest players. So that's a great place to start when you're entering a new league.
Yeah, they played about 1 million quad one games last year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They just weren't able to quite get in. He was right there on the cusp. You talked about the fact that Javier McCullum goes down, Rivaldo Soares, 2 of his top scorers, the big guy inside, and so he's had a tough go at it. With that being said, when he comes to the SEC, let's remember when Alabama was having their great year a couple of years ago, and it was the Big 12 SEC Challenge.
Yeah.
Who was the team that knocked them off?
Oklahoma.
It was the tough physical team of Porter Moser and Oklahoma. He's going to be well prepared. His team will be prepared. The physicality in the SEC is good, but Houston, Iowa State, and the Big 12, they've been prepared, and he'll be ready for the SEC.
It's funny you say that because every season we saw Oklahoma, anytime they got matched up against an SEC team, I guarantee you look at that record, and they always came out on top. Beat the brakes up. I don't know if it was just something that they got excited about it, but they really did well when they were in the Big 12 against SEC. Whether it was the SEC Big 12 Challenge or just a non-conference neutral site game, they did very, very well.
No rest for the weary, right? When you jump into this conference right now, and one of those guys from Ada, Oklahoma is out there with Ron Slade right now. Sam Godwin, let's learn a little bit more about the Sooners.
Absolutely. Let's learn about the Sooners first and foremost.
Let's listen to a brand new team has just joined the SEC. This is from University of Oklahoma. Let's listen in.
Fast-paced style, so we're excited to jump into it and just see what kind of splash we can make in our first season.
Now, let me ask you this. You are established in the Big 12, but you come into this. What are your expectations walking into the SEC in year 1?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're trying to win as many games as possible and make it into March Madness. That was kind of our goal all last year. I mean, every team's goal, we got cut pretty short. So, I mean, our whole team's hungry, coaches, and putting that into everybody, that's our goal. So that's kind of what we're striving for every day.
I can see it kind of in your eyes when you say coaches, when you talk about Coach Moser. What does he mean? What does he mean to you guys? And not only on the floor, but what does he mean away from the floor now?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the most genuine people I've ever been around. And, I mean, just getting to go practice with him every day, learn from him every day. He's super detailed, super energetic, and he's just extremely fun to play for. So I think any team under him has a chance to do big things, and that's what we're looking to do.
Love that. Understand who he is. Now, tell me a little bit about you. What is it that you bring to the team? What can we expect out of you? We turn on the tube. This SEC conference play. Sam is out there. What are we looking for in Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I just take pride in playing harder than everybody else on the court. I try to do all the little things, all the energy plays, just anything the team needs to get a win. And that's kind of what I pride myself on. I'm going to get offensive rebounds, get loose balls, just set hard screens, rebounds, finish in the paint, just things like that.
An intangible guy, Sam. That's what it sounds like. You handle your game on well. When you look at your teammates, who's somebody that's impressed you a little bit coming into this season that was a little different than last season?
Kobe Elvis has impressed me a lot. I get to play with him a lot in practice, and I just feel like we have good chemistry really early on. Good in the pick and roll. He's an extremely good shooter. Always makes the right play. Just smart with the ball in his hands. So another person, Jeremiah Fears. He's turned 18 yesterday, actually, but he's one of the most talented freshmen I've ever seen. So the pace he pushes with in transition, just the skill IQ he has as a freshman is really impressive.
Give me one thing so far this season that Coach Moses told you guys on the off season that's kind of stuck with you. Something that's kind of keeps ringing in you when you running that last sprint. You're a little tired. What's something that stuck with you?
I I mean, he always uses the phrase just 1% better and just like do little 1% things that'll separate us from, because like every team in the country is practicing right now like 3 hours a day. So it's like, what 1% thing can you do to separate yourself, whether that's like an extra sprint or just sprint harder in transition,
I know.
things like that. So that's kind of what he says.
Can you give us a little introduction and impersonation of Coach? Like, what is he like in practice, or like a little fiery? Can you just give us a little impersonation of him?
I mean, a little impersonation would be this right here. That's his power. That's his power pose. Anytime we get something going in the game, he can get 90 degrees in the knees and just start clapping. So that's kind of the best I got. I can't really voice impersonate him, but that's his go-to pose. You'll see that a lot.
Peter Burns, this is Sam Godwin. We're going to send it back to you. Let's get in that power pose for Coach Mo.
Get the ball back right now.
Let's go.
You do that all the time, Coach. That was good.
Sam better be in a better defensive stance than that. That ain't good enough stance. Imitating me.
Coach Moser and Jalen Moore, who Birmingham kid too, man. What's this like being back down home and getting ready to kick off the season?
Man, it feels good being back home. I love coming back home anytime I get a chance to, man. See the city and man, just be in the environment of Birmingham, man, because Birmingham raised me, and it's who I am today, bro.
We're excited for you guys to be in here in Porter. We had an opportunity to catch up over in Destin at SEC spring meetings, and we left going, man, this guy is going to fit right in with this conference. What is it that SEC fans need to be ready for Oklahoma basketball that they haven't seen quite yet?
Well, first of all, we're excited to have a home. You know, I've gone to 3 media days in a row answering questions about the SEC. So it's great to be here at the SEC Media Day. But, you know, I just think our guys are going to play really hard. I think they're going to play together. And I really like this group. And that's the thing about predictions is the people that are making the predictions have no idea what's happening inside your locker room walls. They have no idea about your culture, about how well they're coming together and playing together. And I think this group this summer and this fall so far has been a fun group to coach because they get after it every day.
Coach, you talked about, and this is very crucial in the college basketball these days, you talked about the 2 toughest guys stayed in your program, Jalen Moore and Sam Godwin. How does that impact for you preparing for the season to know you got these 2 guys coming back?
Well, everything I've been about, I've done this a long time, is retention. Is retention, so that when the new guys come in the program, they look at the older guys and be like, this is how it's done. Yeah. And retention's been hard in the NIL era for us at Oklahoma. And to get Sam and Jalen to stay and believe in everything we're doing, and the newcomers have come in and they've looked up to these 2 on how hard they go. They're extremely tough. They bring it every day. Jalen here reminds me of that Ray Lewis quote, you know, are you a thermostat or are you a thermometer?
Yeah,
you know, Jalen sets the temperature. In practice, he's coming in, and every day you feel his energy. I relate with it. I love that part about him. But that's what's so important for him and Sam, because they're by far 2 of the toughest guys I've coached.
Yeah. He called you a thermostat. That's a compliment to you. You set the temperature for the rest of the guys. Jalen, you obviously had a great year last year, but who has impressed you coming to the team this year? Who's winning in pickup games? Who's the one that's been dominant outside of you and Sam this year?
I'm gonna say Kobe Elvis. I'm gonna say Mo, our new big. We just got. Man, they bring it every day. They give us a new look. Kobe can really get down to the paint. He really creates for others and create his own shot. Mo, he plays hard. He can rebound. He can run the floor, catch lobs. So it feels great having another lob brother out there with me too. So I'm gonna say Mo and Kobe Elvis for sure.
Well, we watched Mo all of last year, right, at Alabama. Good to see him still in the SEC. You mentioned it earlier in regards to NIL. There's an impressive arms race going on in all of college basketball. For you, you have to coach the games, but how would you evaluate the state of college basketball and how this arms race and the transfer portal and NIL has been for you?
Well, it's a reality. It's here. And for us, it's, to me, like I said before, it's so much about retention. But the recruiting part about it, it's reality. Yeah. And I know with the new legislation passing, and I know it's not official until coming up in the spring, that's going to be a big another step towards equality and everything. But for me, I think it's a great thing that the student athletes are getting something. Right. It's just, there's just been no guardrails, and I think that's what all of us have been struggling with. Is the goalposts are all over the place.
Right.
And so that's something that, but it's a reality. It's here. You got to lean into it. And but for me, I've I've done this for so long, and I just think retention is so part of what we're doing, and that's why I'm so pleased with Jalen and Sam, what they've done so far with the newcomers.
Glad you brought that up, and you talk about it from a coach's standpoint, but we all get asked about that from fans that you guys are watching us or listening to us all the time going, well, it's just different. It's all different. I don't know if I love college athletics again. You're in that locker room. How is it different, or does it just feel like we're just playing ball and all of a sudden, hey, we can make $1 or $2 now?
I mean, it feels like we're playing ball, man. We're playing ball and getting to connect and grow with each other, bro. We're getting a chance to make memories and make brothers. So it's really just playing ball and going out there and
so
and
no
having
drama,
a good time. There's
no. I
drama
mean,
at
people
all.
think that it's just like, hey, look, I got this deal. What deal do you have? I don't like you, or I'm not going to get right
We're all
there.
happy for each other, man. Like the bond we build in that locker room, bro. It's really a brotherhood, and we're all happy for each other for what we get and what we're able to get through this college athletics.
And Coach, we, obviously saw you at Loyola Chicago going to the Final Four, and we were talking the other day, and about your style and what you do. You say, heck, when you get a big guy like that you can play through, you slow it down a little bit. So would you give us a little idea of what you're going to bring in terms of your style to the SEC this season?
We played a lot with 5 out, and I know everyone thought we played slow because we had big Cam Cutwig, and he was stereotyped, but he was able to get us moving fast. Yeah. Sam has really improved every year. You look at Jalen's improvement every year. But Sam passing the ball and functioning 5 out, he has taken another step this offseason. And I just really, his confidence passing. I told him the thing that I always told that I got, many things I got from Coach Majerus is, if you get a turnover, it's okay. Just don't be afraid to make it. He talked about turnovers out of commission rather than turnovers out of omission in his Wisconsin accent, omission. But, the turnovers, he can't be afraid to make a mistake. Yeah. And that's what I've hit home with Sam. You can't be afraid to make a mistake. Throw it up to Jalen. Let him go do some work. But I think the improvement of him and how we want to play and faster. And then I was just talking to them on a ride over here about yesterday in practice, how those two got out in transition. And Sam can really run. Sam's athletic. He can really run. And I think having two guys with size and length put pressure on the transition defense like these two are, it's key to win the first 3 steps. And I think they're going to see us play that kind of pace as well.
Sam did a phenomenal job on the offensive glass leading the Big 12, and you did a phenomenal job, I thought, as well, just right there on the cusp and got left out. But you mentioned a name that I think is so important. He was one of the best coaches to ever do it, in Rick Majerus. What did he mean to you, the overall relationship between you guys?
Well, I think he's, and that's what you can't forget in this era, is he was the ultimate teacher of X's and O's and teachers of skill development. I just, one thing, the attention to detail with little things, coaching up, and he was a master at that. And so I wanted to, but you also touched on being so close last year. And I tell you, that's something that's bonded Jalen and Sam. Jalen's a huge man of faith, and so am I. And we were put through the hardest day I've had professionally is being the last ones out last year and being something. And, what doesn't break you makes you stronger. Your faith tells you about perseverance. And we have a great blend of guys that have been in the tournament. Kobe Elvis, Bryson Goodines, Mo Wagi, Jadon Jones, with some guys that had a miserable day on that Sunday. And I think that blend is going to help us propel us here day in and day out as we move through the season.
Gets that motivation. I mean, I'm fired up just to listen to it. I'm actually fired up. I'm headed to Norman over this weekend. So Jalen, where for the South Carolina game, what's the spots that I have to do? Like what's on the bucket list?
And then I think for the breakfast, I think you should go to Neighborhood Jam. Get some French toast, you feel me? Get a hot chocolate, and then they got this thing called the Good Old Boy. It got you get bacon, eggs, so I think you should go there for sure.
All right, dinner spot. Where are we going? I'm just gonna go roll over the house.
I love the Neighborhood Jam, Hal Smith restaurants, and I'd go Benvenuti's Italian restaurant. Or Pub W in Charleston. I got to feel my guy Hal Smith. Some love.
Gentlemen, welcome to the league. We can't wait to see it. It's going to be fun basketball.
So now let's welcome to the Oklahoma students to our new conference for basketball season in March.
There it is, Jalen Moore
and welcome.
I got dinner recommendations. I mean, this is 2 minutes. Oh, hey, we got a picture from Tennessee earlier. It was going to be great. We got a little SEC football Saturday. Oklahoma and South Carolina will have SEC Now Live coming up for a 45-minute pregame show, and then Mississippi State and Texas A&M, and then a SEC Saturday night presented by T-Mobile, Kentucky and Florida. Alabama Crimson Tide, they're going to have a big football game over in Tennessee. talking about their basketball team coming up. Nate Oates, is this the year? It was an incredible one for the Tide last year, making it to the Final Four. Can they break through? Talk to him next.